Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and welcome back to another exclusive Overwatch 2 gameplay video. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to the last Overwatch 2 videos these past couple of days, let me just tell you what's going on. So, your boy, along with other Overwatch YouTubers and streamers, got invited into a call with Overwatch 2 gameplay developers where we got to ask them questions. At the very end, they gave us high-quality exclusive gameplay of Overwatch 2, of Overwatch League players playing the game, along with patch notes, giving us a full detailed list of all the changes they made to heroes on this specific build. And the developers wanted us to showcase to you guys this gameplay in any way that we want to. So how I want to do was to showcase it and talk about each individual role, where yesterday I talked about DPS heroes, where today I'm going to be talking about tank heroes specifically. And I already have a feeling that this is probably going to be the role or the category of heroes that a lot of people are going to be asking questions about, because as you guys know, Overwatch 2 is going 5v5, where they're removing one of the tank heroes from the role queue slot, where there's going to be one tank, 2 DPS, and 2 supports. And if I could be completely honest, I do like the idea of Overwatch 2 going 5v5. It fixes the queue times, it allows DPS heroes to actually shoot things rather than shields, and it means that when you're playing the tank role, you feel like you're contributing more because you're the only tank on the field. Your shield as Reinhardt is way more needed in this composition because you're the only shield tank. Your grab ultimate as Zarya is way more powerful now when it comes to setup ultimate usage. You being able to displace people as Hammond is way more valuable now because nobody else can displace people like you. So on paper, you as a tank player should be a very valuable asset of the team. But in execution, it doesn't really seem like that, because to me, it seems like the goal for tanks in Overwatch 2 is trying to make every single tank in some way, shape, or form both a main tank and an off tank, where they're able to do the DPS of an off tank and provide space and protection of a main tank. And in the case of main tanks, it definitely seems like they achieve that, especially when you look at Reinhardt gameplay. It seems like they're able to protect their team while also being able to be aggressive and do damage, and having that extra fire strike and that new ability to not have so much knockback from the enemy team and such. It definitely helps them not being able to be bullied, but being able to stand their ground and also do damage when it's necessary. But in the case of traditional off tanks like d.va and Roadhog, it doesn't seem like that. It doesn't seem like they're able to protect their team, or even better yet, protect themselves. It definitely seems like they're getting hard bullied on the field because they are just so big and easy targets with little to no protection. I know d.va does have more defense matrix juice, but someone like Roadhog, who, yeah, never really had any sort of protecting ideas other than just his big belly, it just kind of seems like he's such an easy target. And I don't know if it's because, well, they're off tanks and they haven't really finished the reworking process for all of them, or if it's because Super is just really bad at tanks in Overwatch 2, or if it's just because tanks are really doomed in Overwatch 2. But I don't want to say that because I know that's going to scare a lot of off-tank players, like, oh no, I'm a Roadhog main and I'm going to be useless in Overwatch. No, you're not going to be useless. All right, just chill out for a second. Going 5v5 is probably the biggest factor as to why at least the multiplayer side of Overwatch 2 isn't here yet, because when you remove that one tank slot, you have to rework basically every single hero. You have to rework all the tanks, and then you have to rework the heroes that are able to feed off of the tanks, like a Reaper or a Pharah or hit scans that can just pump in a lot of bullets into the big beefy tanks. And then you also have to think about the supports, like an Ana that is able to tell their tank, hey, go take damage so I can build my nano boost so that you can get in, we can be aggressive. So that's kind of why all this reworking is going into consideration, because they're trying to make heroes good, but they're also trying to make, especially in the case of tanks, fit that one tank role to be a main tank and an off tank. In some cases, it really works, like in the case of Reinhardt. But for someone like d.va, it hasn't really worked. Some easy suggestions, at least in the case of d.va, is just give her a bunch of defense matrix juice. Make it so that she doesn't run out of DM so quickly, so that she does have a lot more opportunity to protect her team. And I know that's so easy for me to say, but coming from a d.va player, I would love to have that. But you also gotta think, will that break the game? Yeah, it provides the off tank and the main tank role for d.va easily, but will that make d.va a must-pick tank to where you always have to run a d.va? But then you gotta think about how that can impact hit scan players in Overwatch 2 and how they could feel useless because, well, d.va's just eating all their bullets because now you're able to use DM for 10 seconds or something. And that doesn't just apply to d.va, that applies to Roadhog, that applies to Zarya, that even kind of applies to Winston, where if you make them too powerful, give them too many abilities, will you make that hero way too powerful and broken? broken to where you have to form a meta around them. That's what Blizzard is trying to avoid in Overwatch 2, is creating a meta where you have to play around a specific hero. In the case of the Pirate Shickamp, you play around Bastion. In the case of Goats, you play around the Brigida. And for the rest of the tank changes in this Overwatch 2 build, I can see Blizzard treading lightly when it comes to trying to rework a hero on the levels of Bastion and Sombra, like only giving Reinhardt 2 fire strikes but trying to nerf the shield down to 1200, or giving Zarya 2 bubbles at any given time, or giving Winston a new ability where he's able to shoot electric balls like Chidori from Kakashi and Naruto. While cool yet simple abilities, they're not like, whoa, that's so cool. They're a totally different hero. Maybe Winston a little bit, but even that, it's just a new Chidori ability. And I don't know if that's a good thing or if it's a bad thing. If they need to completely rework the tanks on the same level of Bastion and Sombra, where they make them almost unrecognizable, where they add a bunch of abilities where they can protect the team. Like if you give Roadhog the expand jutsu, where he's able to go 3 times the size of how he normally is, so that he can protect his team while also being able to do damage. It's a silly idea. I don't actually want that, but I don't know. Maybe we do want that. But one thing that I do know is that I feel like the shield tanks are pretty good in Overwatch 2. Reinhardt, I mean, he's always been good, and it was probably always going to be nurtured to be one of the best tanks, if not ideally the best tank, because he's a classic hero. But Winston, now he can be a little bit more DPS heavy while still being able to protect the team, but that still leaves a question mark over d.va, Roadhog, and Zarya, who are specified in the patch notes to receive changes, but not really massive changes that you can tell on the surface are big massive changes, just kind of numbers to the defense matrix, Zarya bubbles, or Roadhog passive ability. I mean, if it was up to me, I would buff the off tanks a little bit more and nerf just the shields, not even the main tanks, just the shields of these main tanks a little bit more, so that, well, once again, it fits the playstyle that Overwatch 2 is trying to head in, which is where you're securing kills rather than just securing destroyed shields so that you can get kills. Let's just eliminate a lot of the obstacles in the way of getting what we all love, which is eliminations and kills. And I feel like Blizzard is trying to do that, but very slowly. So come Overwatch 2, heroes that I can see changing are going to be Sigma and Orisa, because they're the other 2 shield tanks that have yet to be talked about in the patch notes or even showcased in this gameplay. And especially Orisa, because she's not only a shield tank, but also a bad shield tank that doesn't really have a place in Overwatch other than just in double shield compositions. But I mean, we'll just have to see what other changes come to the tanks, but I definitely think Blizzard needs to look at the off tanks a lot more, because I don't really like the position that they're in. I mean, on paper, it seemed like they were going to be okay, but in execution, yeah, Super got bullied. And again, I don't know if it's because he's just bad, but it definitely looks like he should just be playing main tank, because, well, the team would benefit from the shield, and you can still get DPS. Whereas if you play off tank, yeah, you get the DPS, but no protection. And that's just my initial thoughts. Again, it could all change come to the next build of Overwatch 2, or when Overwatch 2 gets released, but you can tell from the gameplay that, yeah, main tanks, it kind of seems like that's the way. Like, that's the way to go. Pick Reinhardt, or at very least pick Winston, because he can do kind of both. Do damage and do protection. And of course, let me know what you think they should do to tank heroes specifically, because I'm not really a tank player, but I feel like I can give good judgment in the case of d.va, because I play a lot of d.va, not so much Reinhardt, even Winston, but it definitely seems like those 2 heroes are really good, but d.va and Roadhog, and I didn't really see Zarya all that much, doesn't really seem all that great in Overwatch 2. But again, let me know in the comment section below. But I love you guys, thank you guys for watching, more Overwatch videos to come, and bye.